Shalom and good afternoon. This is Jerusalem Jane making an update, and right now, red alert, red alert, red alert, because Israel is under fire from the terrorists inside the Gaza Strip. This has been going on all night. Hundreds and hundreds of rockets has been pounding down in Israel, and the death toll, the latest one I heard, was 8. There was someone speaking about 9 Israelis that has now died from these rocket attacks coming in from Gaza. What I want to tell you to begin with, and I'm going to look down a little bit because I want to get this accurate, but as I just turned off the light last night, just around midnight, it came out breaking news that the Israeli Defense Forces had now begun striking in Gaza with air and ground troops. So of course the whole world thought, okay, now Israel is going to send in troops to Gaza. Israel had been building up with tanks and forces around the Gaza Strip, and apparently, well, now they were moving towards going in. So what does Hamas do? Cowards like they always are. They ran and they hide in those really, really expensive developed bunkers throughout the Gaza Strip. You see, this was exactly, red alert, red alert. This was exactly what the Israeli Defense Forces knew they would do. So, in 35 minutes, Israel pounded the underground structures in Gaza. 450 times were they attacked, and let me get this right, 160 fighter jets from 12 different squadrons attacked in the Gaza Strip. Together with the Air Force, infantry, artillery, and armed forces attacked. So this was a big surprise for the terrorists inside the Gaza Strip. Israel dealt the biggest blow since the war in Gaza in 2014. They didn't see this coming, and not even Israel, or probably in the Gaza Strip, has the number yet of how many terrorists that was taking out. Why did Israel do that? Because in 3 days, terrorists inside the Gaza Strip has fired 2,000 rockets into Israel. Several hundreds of those actually didn't make it across the border into Israel. They fell down in the Gaza Strip. So some of the numbers you hear of people being killed and wounded in the Gaza Strip are actually from Hamas themselves. Overnight, there was a lot of riots going on here in Israel. Again, Arabs were out attacking Jewish people. There was a lady who was the only Jew who was living in that apartment building, and while she left to go to safety with her parents' house, her apartment, as the only one, was set on fire. In Friends Hill, which is a neighborhood in Jerusalem, an Arab mob went out and attacked Jewish houses, Jewish car, and they beat a Jewish man who had to go to the hospital. It happens over and over again. It is absolutely reprehensible. In one of the terror attacks, where a young Jewish man, 19 years old, was severely beaten. He was literally lynched in the streets, and he had such a main fracture in his head, so he went through surgery overnight with 3 of the best surgeons here in Israel, and he is in very serious condition. What did he do? Walking down the street as a Jew and severely beaten, lynched. It happens over and over again. We also had 2 terrorist attacks. We had one terrorist who tried to ram the soldiers with his car, and then he tried to get out of the car and stab them with a knife, and he was neutralized. This happened over and over again. The 5-year-old boy who was killed when a rocket had a direct hit into his house the funeral process was taking place today. And as all of Israel is mourning and heartbroken, standing with the family who now has to say goodbye to their 5-year-old boy because terrorists inside Gaza are trying to murder as many Israeli civilians as possible, the red alert went off, and as they are trying to bury their beloved son, they had to run and take cover. This is just some of the things that has happened overnight since you last heard from me. Despicable Arab mob, Lynch mob, are still out there attacking Jewish people in their cars, in the streets, and in their home. And many of them are in the hospital now, severely injured, but you won't hear about it in mainstream media. So Israel played a trick on Hamas, thought they sent in land troops. They did not. Israel attacked from the Israeli sides. No Israeli troops had entered the Gaza Strip, but they managed to take out many of these terrorists who has been firing rockets into Israel year after year after year. So this was just a current news update from Jerusalem Jane. I will keep you updated as always on all my social media platforms. Bye.